In a small, crowded neighborhood of Pakistan, there stood a tiny one-room house. The walls were cracked, the paint was peeling, and the roof leaked whenever it rained. But inside that little room lived a world full of warmth, a family that loved each other more than anything else. The father, Rashid, was a quiet man, with tired eyes but a soft heart. His wife, Sadia, was gentle, always trying to keep the home peaceful despite their struggles. And then there were their three children, Ayan, Hiba, and little Rumi, the joy of the house. They were poor, painfully poor, but their hearts were rich. Every evening, the children waited at the door for their fathers to return from work. Sometimes he brought home bread, sometimes nothing at all. But the children hugged him the same way every day. Papa, aage. Their voices filled the house with life. The children adored him. To them, he was a hero. And they showed their love in the most innocent way, by writing on the walls. With broken chalk pieces, they wrote, Papa, I love you. Papa is our hero. We are happy because of you. The walls were covered with their handwriting, messy, uneven, but full of love. Whenever Rashid looked at those walls, his eyes softened. But behind that softness, something else was growing. A heaviness, a fear, a storm. Rashid worked as a daily laborer. Some days he found work, most days he didn't. The city was harsh and jobs were scarce. One day he returned home with empty hands. The children ran to him, hugging him tightly. Papa, look, we made a new drawing. They showed him a big heart with his name inside. He smiled, but inside he felt like breaking. How long can I keep disappointing them? He thought. That night, he couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, listening to the sound of the old fan shaking above him. Sadia noticed. She placed her hand on his shoulder. Rashid, we will get through this. Don't lose hope. He nodded, but hope was slipping away from him. One afternoon, the landlord arrived, banging on the door. Rashid, it's been 3 months. Pay the rent or leave. The children hid behind their mother. Rashid stood silently, unable to say anything. The landlord left with a warning. You have 1 week. That night, Rashid sat outside the house, staring at the sky. Ayan came and sat beside him. Papa, when I grow up, I will buy you a big house. Rashid hugged him tightly. Those words, meant to comfort him, only deepened his pain. Days passed. Rashid searched everywhere for work. He walked miles under the burning sun. He returned home exhausted, defeated. One day, he fainted on the street from hunger and stress. A shopkeeper helped him up. Bye, you need rest. You look tired. But rest was a luxury Rashid couldn't afford. When he reached home, the children ran to him again. Papa, we cleaned the walls today. Look, they had written. Papa, you are our world. Rashid stared at the words. His heart felt heavy, too heavy. He loved his children more than life itself. But he felt like he was failing them. Sadia noticed the change in him. He spoke less. He smiled less. He barely ate. One night, she sat beside him. Rashid, talk to me. What's hurting you? He looked at her with tired eyes. I'm trying, Sadia, but life is not letting me breathe. She held his hand. We will face everything together. You are not alone. But Rashid felt alone. He felt trapped. He felt like the world was closing in on him. And then came the day that shattered everything. The neighbors heard screams. People rushed to the house. Inside, they found a heartbreaking scene. The family was gone. Rashid killed his kids, his wife, and then he cut his veins. No one knew exactly what happened in those final moments. No one knew what Rashid was thinking. No one knew how deep his pain had become. But everyone knew one thing: this tragedy was born from silent suffering. The walls that once spoke love now stood as witnesses to a pain no one saw. The entire neighborhood mourned. People cried for the children. They cried for Sadia. And they cried for Rashid, a man crushed by poverty, pressure, and hopelessness. Sometimes the people who smile the most are the ones hurting the deepest. Never ignore the silent struggles of those around you. A kind word, a little support, or even a small gesture can save a life. Poverty is not a crime. Asking for help is not weakness. And no one should suffer alone. And now I want to ask you something. If you ever saw someone silently struggling, a friend, a neighbor, or even a family member, would you reach out to them? Or would you stay silent like the world stayed silent for Rashid? At the end, I must say, together we can spread meaningful stories. Like, share, and subscribe to help this message reach more people.